So that was me. I was known as Iowa. You'll see more later. There's a book I was given, a list of everybody. So as the story continues, I I was in pretty bad shape. Like I said, I had to wear a patch, and then one good part of that came out of it was I had several kids come visit me in school. A lot of them I didn't even know yet. I mean, I was just entering seventh grade for the most part. I'd met some people, but it was my first year of junior high, or what you call it, middle school. Anyway, and I got asked to the sweetheart dance. It was quite funny. I'd never dated a girl, never even, I mean, I was only 12, almost 13, but so I had that to look forward to, but I had to go with a patch on my eye. But anyway, that was kind of cool. So besides that, I had a rough time. I was in the hospital 3 weeks, and I went back to school, and it was like chaos. I mean, I had to go. There's a bunch of teachers and principals and different administrators and shit there my first day back, and I mean, this was a big deal. It made the newspaper and everything, front page. It was crazy. And so they're like scared. They wouldn't even let me be in the gymnasium because it was wintertime. We always had recess after lunch, of course, in the gym, and they literally didn't want me going in there. My parents were like, he's obviously fine. He's been out of the hospital. And I wouldn't say I was fine. And I get it. They were being cautious. The patch probably intimidated them. But my eye was crossed. So I had to wear it or I couldn't see, or I would see double. And it didn't take long. So I started getting made fun of. And it was brutal. I didn't really have anybody, I should say, bully me. Like nobody tried to beat me up or try to do anything like that. It was more of just making fun of me and laughing behind my back and giggling and all that good stuff. People staring at me. Because on top of that, I had the nerve damage. If anybody knows what Bell's palsy is or seen people with Bell's palsy, that's kind of what it looked like. It was pretty bad. And so obviously, like any normal probably kid would do, is I begged my parents not to go back to school. Did not want to be in school. I was mortified. I was just seventh grade is probably the toughest year for any kid, I bet. I mean, kids start to get mean, start to think they're funny and all that good shit. And I was not very big at the time. And all I know is I begged and begged my parents not to go to school. And of course, they didn't obviously go through with that. So what I did, I always call it my survival. I still find myself doing that sometimes. Is when I'm uncomfortable, or it was my way to earn friends. The way I learned how to make friends is I made fun of myself, and then I was funny in other ways too. And it kind of, I was funnier than the people making fun of me when I made fun of myself. So that's almost like it kind of cut their game off, man. But that ended up making me kind of start making friends. I was funny, kind of class clown. I would get in trouble in class on occasion because I would, be funny or silly, and kids thought that was cool back then. You got in trouble, man. You was a hero, dude. Oh man, he got in trouble. He pissed it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but I was in the hallway a lot. Not right away, obviously. I was a couple months went down by before I started doing that, but I was by eighth grade. I was popular. It was kind of cool. And then the time started. I started getting rowdy, but I remember going to play baseball. I played baseball my whole life, and then I went back to play Little League, and they tried to make me wear a hard hat. Like when we bat in the field. And anybody that plays baseball or has played baseball, I couldn't see a pop up because the helmet would block my head from tilting all the way back. My parents had to fight and fight and fight to get that taken away. Like, I wasn't going to be risking another head. I mean, I'm pretty confident I was out of the hospital because I was good. Now, I'm not saying I need to go play football or anything, but I ended up playing football though. But anyway, so I got the helmet thing taken away, and I had made the 12-year-old All-Stars. I didn't make the All-Stars again because they held it over my head. I know they did. And they were concerned or worried or whatever you want to call it. And I got to high school. I didn't even go out. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to get cut. I got cut from the freshman basketball team, and that devastated me because I was pretty decent, but I was short, and so I didn't make the team, and so I didn't go out for anything else. Matter of fact, I played 8th grade football, tackle. I played middle linebacker. Who knew? Obviously, at that age, there's not any specific people, but I must have did something right. But when I got to high school, I was at the biggest high school in the state. I was blown away how big everybody was. I was not about to try to play football. And I didn't want to do 2-a-days and not fucking play. Nah. I didn't want to go through 2-a-days and all that headache and not get to start. So I didn't play. I didn't play sports. And I was a pretty decent athlete. I mean, I wouldn't say I was great, but I was over average. But I made up for it in my adult years, which we'll talk later, but played a lot of softball. Anyway, so 8th grade, I just want to make my friends happy, man. I'm 15. By the time this is going on, I remember stealing my mom's car a few times, picking up my friends. My mom and dad would go out to dinner, and I'd take her car, and I always knew what time she'd be back. So I was kind of a crazy little kid, but I was smart about it. I didn't really get caught too often. And by 9th grade, I was intimidated. But lucky for me, I met my best friend when I was 13 in Little League, who was probably the toughest in the school as a freshman. If not the toughest, he was one of the toughest, and people weren't going to mess with him. And so I felt pretty comfortable. But I wasn't one that started problems, but people still made fun of me. And then I made fun of myself too. Like it was just a joke, like smash head, crooked face, Popeye, one eye. One eye was the one I always heard, one eye. Because once I got the patch off, I was about 6 months old. My left eye would basically close if I smiled too big. It still kind of goes a little bit small. And I'm not going to pretend like I didn't, but when I drank and I smoked pot, all that dumb shit, not dumb shit, but all that stuff, literally my eye would close when I was drunk or high. People always made fun of me. I started making fun of myself as I got older. I mean, even one time at the bar when I got older, I remember walking up to a few guys at a table, and just to make the mood lighter, hey guys, if you catch me winking at you, I promise I don't mean nothing by it, man. I'm straight, dude. And they'd all start laughing. So that's how I broke the ice. That's how I became personable, and people liked me because I was kind of funny, or they just faked it, but it worked anyway. So high school was amazing, man. I ain't gonna lie. I had some fun, big time pothead, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't even to this day think there's a problem with marijuana, but it's illegal right now. So at least in our state. But my point is I drank, smoked pot, and had a lot of fun in my days. And little by little, it was getting less and less people making fun of me. But it was still like even my friends and me, they would kind of get me. They would tell people I had a plate in my head. And I was just like, no, I don't, dude. But I'm like, I'd play along. Yeah, I got it. And I'm like, I would do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anybody remembers he would, the guy would scratch his head. He goes, lick my plate, lick my plate. If you haven't seen the movie, you won't know. But I would play along just to make people laugh. My friends got a kick out of it. I would even laugh. And as long as I made people laugh, I'm happy. Honestly, I love to laugh, but I also love to make people laugh. That was kind of my deal. I didn't care what it cost. I mean, I was, again, in high school, class clown. I was getting kicked out of class all the time, either in the hallway or in the vice principal's office. But I always had some troubles. The only reason I got through school was because I'd always do my schoolwork. But my test, I'd bomb them because I had such a horrible retention ability. And we chalked it up to my head injury. Um, I would study so hard for my tests, like the night before, and then even the morning before I went to school. I'd have it down, man. And I'd get into that classroom, and that test would come, and I would completely go blank and panic and fucking bomb all the time. This might be a thing for some people to learn, but my dad taught me how to. I'm not even saying it worked for me, but it always sounded good. Is when you're studying and you're reading, read out loud, because you read and then you hear what you're reading. Suppose you get it twice, is what my dad always told me. My dad was a smart son of a bitch, but I wasn't lucky enough to get his IQ score. His IQ score was off the charts, I guess. But that's the funny part, because for most of my life, I just accepted that I had a head injury, and that's probably why I wasn't as smart as everybody else. But I'm actually smarter than I thought I was, now that I have a clear mind and I'm older and I care, you know. Love learning shit, man. So yeah, that's I mean, I won't get too deep into my high school days. It was just like a typical high school kid. I had a girlfriend for 2 years. It broke my heart. I remember being at my buddy's kegger, and she broke up with me at the kegger. My drunk ass was crying like a little baby. My first heartbreak, man. My first sweetheart, right? But if this tells you anything, I'm not like this now. But I might as well come clean. I kind of stole one of my good friends' girlfriend, because he was abusive. And I used to sit back and listen and watch, and I just bugged the fuck out of me. That's how I knew. I mean, I let a lot of it go. He wasn't horribly abusive, but he was abusive verbally, especially. Or he'd grab her or something, you know, and I finally fucking jumped to shit. Don't do it. Of course, I thought she was hot, but I'm not one to take my man. And I've never done it since. That's high school bullshit, but he still holds a grudge on me. But, and I don't know if she started liking me because I stuck up for her or what, but that's who I was dating for a couple of years of high school. And to this day, I still see her dad all the time, and he's good shit, man. I love his dad, her dad. And I'm pretty sure they like me, but we move on. Things happen, change the scenery. You know, she went off to college, blah, blah, blah. But my senior year, I got kicked out of school for missing first hour too much. You can almost guess why. I just go smoke pot. And they made me audit the class, which, if anybody doesn't know what that is, I almost don't understand. But it's basically you have to take the class to stay in school, but you get no credit for it. It was home ec. And I used to say, man, I wish home ec would have been second period, because we could have got high in first period and then had the munchies by second period. That'd been perfect, right? But no, home ec was first period. And so we'd go to homeroom and we'd leave for first period. Ended up getting caught, and then I had to go to an alternative school for a semester. And then, yeah, but I ended up graduating just a semester late. But it was funny, when I went to the alternative school, three of my closest friends went with me. They went on different reasons, but we all ended up, and then we ran the alternative school. But, yeah, high school, man, fun days, buddy. Man, fun days.